Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about editing panels a little more in depth from what we've done before. So we're already into Magnum, and we clicked on the Interface tab and the Single Profile tab to edit a panel. We're going to go here and we're going to look at a panel. So from this page, you can edit a single panel just by clicking on the little pencil on the side, or you can edit several panels together. We're going to bring up a group here. Let's say I want to edit these two panels together at the same time. So I put a check mark on both of them, and I go up here and I click Edit. So now this says multiple panels, and if I scroll over here and put my cursor right on there, it's going to tell me what panels I'm editing. And once you're in this mode, you can move buttons around. You can also click on buttons like menu buttons and bring those up as well. Each panel has 50 separate pages or menus that they'll call primary menus. And when you click on any one button, you have a type that you can select over here. And that type can be a source, it can be a destination, it can be the last menu, it can be a salvo it can fire, it can be a source scroll up, scroll down, it can be a lock, it can be any number of things that you want in there. So to edit a panel, we're going to highlight a group of buttons. I'm going to delete them. Say I want that to be a source, so I'll click S for source. That brings me over here. Say I want that to be a camera. Now I'm going to click just outside the gray area here, the light gray, and drag it as far over as I want to go. Click S on my keyboard for source again, and that'll come up. Now if I want to put a bunch of destinations in here, I click on this empty button, hit D for destination on my keyboard. That brings up my destination, and I'm going to say I want that to be an EVS. I can highlight around it, click D on my keyboard, and it's going to add them in the order that they're available over here. Now if I want these buttons to go through every other page, I can click on just these buttons, and I go to Attachment, and I make them static. Now whatever other page I go to, these buttons are going to appear. They're going to be gray in this panel editing mode, but on the actual panel itself, it's going to look normal. It'll be the same color, it'll be everything. So now any page that I go to, any menu that I go to, it's going to have these here. I've got some other primary menus, and those are going to be right there. Some of the other things you can do on these panels is change the colors of the buttons. So to do that, we go to Key Colors, and right now we have source when it's off, it's green, when it's on, it's red. So that means if you press the button for a source, it'll show up as red. Normally when it just sits there, it'll be green. If I wanted to make that a different color, say I wanted to make that blue, now this changed up here, and everything's blue. When you get into the level buttons, you can select the little drop down. You can make the different levels be different colors. If you want the video to be one color and the audio to be another color, you can, but usually that gets kind of confusing for people, so it's best to leave them all the same color. Now the other thing you have down here is your default destination, and you can make the default destination be any one of your destinations you have available to that panel. In this case it says multi because I'm editing multi-panels, and they each have different default destinations. And the default destination is a destination that the panel is going to affect when you set and change the router before any other destination button is selected. And each panel has 50 pages of menus that you can do. You can call them a page, you can call it a menu, whatever you want to do, but it's 50 separate pages. Like this is one page right here. So when you want to create a new primary menu page, we'll go here, I selected a box, didn't have anything in it, and I look over here, primary menu, and this brought up a new menu, so I want to call that something. I'm going to call that test. Now I've got a brand new menu page, and the only thing that's there are these because I made these static. So the first thing I want to do on a new menu page like that is give the operator of the panel a way to get out. So I'll go back here, go to primary menu, and create main, so that way I can get back out. But you can also, as you're editing the panel, you can go to different pages by going to menu here, and it gives you all the 50 menus and click on any one of them. Now you can also copy from one menu page to another within the same panel. So if I'm back here, I'll go to page 2, I want to copy this frame sync page, I can do a copy, I can select another page, my test page, paste, and now I've just copied that page. And again, if you want to erase something on here, you highlight the area, and on a Mac you hit Shift Delete, on a PC you just hit Delete and they'll go away. Now for your availability list, everything's going to be added in the way you made it available. And you can sort this numerically by clicking on port, or by alphabetically by clicking on name, or you can sort it by device, like you want to say just subscriptions. And so go back and sort it numerically like that. Now if I want to look at something that's not available, I would select unavailable. This empty space up here shows you everything that's available or not available if you want to add new sources. And this usually takes a little bit to load up because it's looking at every source in the router, sources that are available, whether they're EQX, whether they're EMR sources, whether they're subscriptions, whether they're virtual ports. So it's a lot of stuff for it to go through. So it'll take a few minutes to kind of load everything up. And if you do something you didn't really mean to do, you can always revert. They'll take it back to the state the panel was before. You can send the page, the editing changes that you've done to the panel, send them and they'll go right to the panel, or click done and they'll just keep the panel changes you did for later. So here, if I wanted to add something that I didn't have, let's say I go to my EQX, so I don't have many of these in here. If I want to add some of these things, so I want to sort it in order. I'm still on my source page, so I can click, if I hold down my shift button, say I want to do that one, and I clicked on the bottom one just like you do on any other editing document. I highlighted the group that I wanted and I made them available. And it's the exact same process for destinations. And the other thing over here to watch out for is your levels. So the levels are going to be all that panel will affect. So right now everything's kind of gray, so that means they're all going to be affected. If I just wanted to do video only on that page, that's all that's going to be affected. If I want to do, if I hold them down, I want to do 8 levels of audio, I can do it that way. That's really whatever you want to have affected by that. And you can do subpanels. You can create different panels for different buttons, and it will act completely independently. You can have different destinations for that panel, different default destinations. Up here on this part is where you set the subpanel for the button. Down here is where you set the defaults for that subpanel. You can actually have them be different colors. You can have them have different levels highlighted. You can have a different default destination. It really just depends how you want to do it, but you do have to be careful because that can be a little complicated if you're not sure what you're doing. So let's say we didn't really want to keep any of these changes, so I'm going to leave that page and go back. And as we said before, if you want to do a group of panels, you can sort them by the name. And that brings up all these. You can select here however you want to edit those panels together. If you want to create a brand new panel from scratch, you click on Add, call it a name, give it an IP address, select your model. In our trucks, we really only have the 2272Es, that's the bigger 2RU panels, or the 1040s, that's the single RU panel. And then you can do a make like, and that's going to make that panel exactly like another one that's in that group. Or if you select none, it's just going to be a completely blank panel with nothing into it. And you can click on these names and change them. What I like to do is name the name to be the same in a group, because I want to edit those panels together, so I'll put some descriptive name like BTG for B-tape group or EVS for EVS group, so I know which panels will go together. If I pick a panel that has something different available to it that another panel does not have, let's see if we can find a panel that will do that. So say I've got this one, and I want to do and those panels are the same, so they show up exactly the same. Now over here in name sets, on these panels, I can select what name set is available to that panel. In this case, it has global available to it, but I could also drag over the show name set that I did, so then both sets of names would be available to it. The other thing I can do with that is I can change the default name set over here. I have another name set that I called show that I talked about in a different video, and then it will come up there. So now from here, if I wanted to do something like, I'm going to edit these two panels together, so I marked on them, my little check mark. And what this is showing me is that there's different buttons on this panel that it doesn't know what to do with it. So the other thing that might happen is if you have a different availability, it'll come up with different numbers and characters, and you can't edit the panel together. And the way to get around that, if you don't know the availability is, you don't know what's really different on that panel, is you can go into this Make Like tab. So say I wanted to make two panels. I take these two panels and I do a Make Like. I'm going to make those two panels be like something else. And I can apply that change, and it says cloning interface. Now it's going to make those two panels exactly like the one that I selected. So I can then go in and edit these two panels, and they're going to come up exactly like the other one that I just had. But what you have to be careful of is the default destination, and any destinations on those panels will be a copy of the one that you did, so you have to go back in and change those. But now you can edit those two panels as a group. So this is kind of a brief overview of panels. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.